Continuing on with this theme about what is going to happen in Israel in relation to the Psalm 83 war, there's no question that Barack Obama, President of the United States, is having a hand in what's going on there. And it's not good news for Israel. Barack Obama has been agitated by the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, and it's evident in the news that the President of the United States has shunned the Prime Minister of Israel many times. And now, just recently, we found out that the Prime Minister of Israel will be coming to the United States, not going, by the way, to the White House, but he will be speaking before the Senate. So take a look at this article because this is really important. This article was published January the 25th, 2015, and you can see it was from the Jewish press. Obama's policies bring the Golan to a boil. Now, just so that you know, the Golan is part of the area that is mentioned in the Psalm 83 war prophecy that is coming up. And who was there? Hamas, the Hezbollah, and the PLO, headed by Abbas. Now, as you saw in my first video, there's exchanges on the northern border between Israel, Lebanon, and Israel has also taken shots at Syria as of late. So we're dealing with the very nations who are listed in that Psalm 83. It says, the attack in the Golan this week on a convoy of Hezbollah operatives and Iranian military officials is a sign that things are going to get worse in the volatile area that encompasses southern Lebanon, Syria, northern Jordan, and northern Israel. So in this one article, you have Lebanon mentioned in the Psalm 83, you have Syria also, and you also have Jordan mentioned in there. And of course, you have also the Hezbollah as well. Now moving on right here, among those killed were high-ranking Iranian officials connected with Hezbollah's use of Iranian-supplied ballistic missiles and with Iranian special forces units that focus on raids and small unit tactics. In the words of a retired Israeli general, this was a very high-level convoy, clearly preparing for serious insurgents against northern Israel. So again, signs of this coming war. Now, meanwhile, we've reached the point in the post-Arab Spring Middle East at which many of the spin-off developments, perhaps most of them, are a consequence of the policies followed by the Obama administration. Although there have been long-term policy failures, it's a specific, proximate policy failure that opened the door to the current result in the Golan Heights. In other words, Barack Obama's administration is putting Israel's security in jeopardy. But because the strategic importance of the terrain, Iran and Hezbollah have been building infrastructure there for some time. But their interest in the Golan skyrocketed in December. The reason? ISIS gained a foothold there when the Yarmouk Martyrs Brigade of the Free Syrian Army defected from the de facto alliance with the U.S. Arab coalition against Assad and declared its allegiance to ISIS. The Yarmouk Martyrs Brigade had been one of the most active rebel factions holding territory directly adjacent to the area of separation between Syria and Israel, administered in theory by the UN. In particular, it has held the southern line of confrontation with Syrian regime forces in the transit corridor leading to the Quintero border crossing. That defection didn't happen in a vacuum. It happened because in early December, the Obama administration disclosed through the back door, after more than 2 years of cooperation with the FSA, that it would not be working with them to build a defense force in Syria. The point here is not that Obama should have stayed with the wrong allies. The point is that passively, lack of leadership and ally hopping have consequences. Part of the picking allies is shaping who they are and what expectations they have. It starts with having common and enduring goals with those allies, which keep both sides committed. These things matter to a responsible power at any rate. The Obama administration has constantly failed to exhibit signs of being one. The failure has had a game-changing result in the Golan. Now ISIS is there, with an entrenched infrastructure handed to it by FSA factions, and Iran can't afford to ignore that. Iran isn't going to let ISIS build up a stronghold of its own on the Syrian border with Israel. So the rest of the article, it goes on to talk about how Iran is jockeying for position against the Hezbollah, but essentially the bottom line is they both want to destroy the nation of Israel. And as I said in my first video, the Psalm 83 war will see the Hezbollah involved in that war, and Iran will be involved in the Ezekiel 38 war. But in this article, the real foundation, or the bottom line to this is, Israel is being confronted by the enemies listed in those prophecies. And the United States is only adding to the fire, adding fuel, by not being the ally that it says it is with Israel. And of course, this also reflects Zechariah chapter 12, where the Lord shows us in the last days everybody will be against Israel. And that includes the United States, and you couldn't have a better president in the United States to fulfill that prophecy than Barack Hussein Obama. Now, in part of this article, as you see highlighted, Iran they're mentioning the fact about this nuclear power situation that Israel said that they would attack and wipe it out. Now, they don't actually say that in this article, but there's gestures made to. This is one of the reasons why Iran wants to keep Israel occupied with the enemy of Hezbollah on the borders, so that they'll be deflected from the major issue, Iran's nuclear quest to use that bomb against Israel. So the article goes on for 2 to 3 pages. It's a lengthy article, but all you really need to know, current events show the war is on its way.